Hi, and welcome back to another segment of Life Changing Solutions Live. And today we have Ron with us from Alta Wellness. Excuse me. So earlier we were talking about what Alta Wellness was about, the programs that they offer. And today we're in for a little treat because Ron's going to give us a little sample of what it would look like when a tool. And so we thought it would be best that given the new year and everybody's doing their New Year's resolutions and sometimes right about now is when people start to say, I'm done, I'm over it. So tell us about what you're going to talk about today.
So one of the classes at Alta Wellness is on goal setting and basically achieving success and that kind of thing. And so one of the interesting things, especially about New Year's resolutions, is that most people don't end up following them. And so, they set these great expectations, and they have, I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to do something, that will change and improve my life. And then within, like you just said, within a week or so, they've, given that up. And so that, it's not effective. And so kind of the idea of a resolution is usually, I'm going to do this from now on. I'm going to go to the gym, 5 days a week from now on. And so then one of the problems with that is that we would talk about in one of our classes is that the definition of failure would be, if you only went 2 days a week, then you would think, well, I failed. I already broke my New Year's resolution, therefore I'm going to get discouraged and then I stop. But the truth is, if you've been not going to the gym, and then you, that first week of January you go twice, that's actually a tremendous success. And that's how we should see it, because when we see it that way, then we could say, okay, next week I'm going to try to go 3 times, and the next week I'm going to try to go 4 times, and that's actually a good way to start a good, healthy habit that will help us be successful.
So what you're saying is celebrate the small accomplishments. So if I'm going to the gym twice, and that's already 2 times that I haven't been, therefore it's a huge deal.
Absolutely.
And celebrate that, and then next week, try to go again and go 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another good example I mentioned earlier is like smoking. Think about how many people have tried to quit smoking and failed. That's a very high failure attempt, something that people attempt to do, but they fail a lot. But part of that is the definition of their failure, right? Because again, if somebody has smoked a pack a day for years and they say, okay, I'm going to stop smoking, and kind of our message is that that's part of the problem. To say I'm going to stop smoking is part of the problem, because that what it does is it sets up a definition of failure that means that, okay, so I stop, I haven't smoked, I go 4 days without smoking, and then a friend comes over that's smoking and I just can't stand it, and I take a cigarette and I smoke again, and I think, oh man, I failed. I didn't quit smoking. But the truth is, you were smoking a pack a day and you just went 4 days without smoking. That's a tremendous success. And instead of saying, oh, I didn't quit smoking, we should have said, wow, you just went 4 days without smoking. You just did 4 successful days smoke-free, right?
Right.
So let's try for 5. And so instead of setting, in a sense, a resolution that says, I'm not going to do this anymore, or I'm going to do this from now on, what we should do is say, this is the goal, and those little smaller steps, and then those are defined as success. And that's usually a better approach.
I like that, because there's no beat up to it. It's very much like that celebration of the efforts that you're putting into it. Therefore, it's going to motivate you to keep going, instead of beating yourself up like, oh man, because even if you smoke 1 cigarette, and now instead of saying, okay, I'm done, let me go back to smoking a full pack, it's like, no, I had 1 cigarette. That's way better than that entire pack, so it's progress.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that old joke of, quitting smoking is easy. I've done it a million times, right?
Yes.
So, but really the approach of looking at it from another phrase that I've heard, and I don't know who to attribute this to, but I think it's just profound, is progress, not perfection, right? So we look at, what do we do today, and can tomorrow be a little bit better? And then if we make it a little bit better, then we celebrate that and we encourage ourselves, because that inspires more of that same effort and more of that same behavior, rather than discouragement and giving up. So if I feel like I failed stopping smoking, I failed in my resolution to go to the gym every day, then I'm going to get discouraged and I'm going to give up very easily. And that inspires inaction instead of inspires action.
Kind of cool. And so this is like one of the many tools that you provide, and specifically in this class, it's the goal setting, right? Or what's it called? I'm sorry.
Yes. The
and,
goal setting class, yes.
And so there's 12 weeks of this, and every time you come in, there's a different tool. And, also what it sounds like is that you get to really, as an individual and as a participant of this class, you get to say, well, I'm a smoker, as you said, but the other one wants to lose weight. But essentially the tool is the same.
That's right.
And you just thread it through to whatever needs you have.
Yeah, and it's an educational class, so we're not treating a disorder or anything like that. We're just helping people wherever they are. And so, like you said, if one person wants to lose weight, one person has a goal of stopping smoking, we're just going to talk about the best techniques and the best way and approaches, to do that, and help them with that, and kind of give them the tools that they need to be successful.
Well, that's pretty cool. I kind of like it. But no, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about and let the audience know is that you're actually going to be a regular here in the Life Changing Solutions show. So thank you for that. And so week to week, we're going to have, different little tips and tricks that Ron will be sharing with us. So I'm also inviting everybody to either send me a message on Life Changing Solutions, or you can also go to Alta Wellness, or altawc.com to submit any kind of request if there's something that you're struggling with or a question, because the segment is actually going to be Ask the Therapist. And whether there's something that you're going through and you need some suggestions or some guidance on, you can submit that question, and Ron will do his best to be able to answer it on the air. And we will keep it confidential, so no, we will not be using your information. We'll just use whatever case you give us. But also, if there's any kind of tips or any skills that you're like, hey, I'm struggling with, keeping my resolutions, or I don't know. Because actually, again, with these classes, there's 30 classes right now, and they range from, goal setting to depression, dealing with depression, to eating disorders, anxiety. So, I mean, it's a pretty broad spectrum. So I'm going to challenge you guys to challenge us, specifically Ron, and submit your questions or any kind of requests.
And I'm happy to answer the questions. And again, not in the context of therapy, but in the context of information and tools and being able to do the things that people can do on their own.
Well, time is about to run out. So thank you so much, Ron. And we shall see you here next month. So that's plenty of time for everybody to be able to submit. And I don't know, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, that sounds good to me. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. But all right, so the Spanish segments are coming up next. So stay tuned if you want. If not, don't forget to watch my YouTube's Life Changing Solutions. Bye.